What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Saturday, June 7th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. And I am a proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today. Anytime I get a chance to talk to somebody that went to my alma mater, that's earning a master's there, like I am, it's always a special thing. Her name is Jade Barkett. She first went to UCF, University of Central Florida in Orlando, and has now since transferred to Kennesaw State University, which is my alma mater, to pursue a master's. And she is a sideline reporter. She's in broadcast journalism, interned with the athletic department there. So we're going to talk to her about her why. We're going to talk to her about why she wants to do that and what kind of role that she would like to have. We're also going to have some get to know you fun questions as well. So without any further ado, I introduce you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Jade. Hmm.
Hi,
Good morning, Jade. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. You look absolutely lovely today. I just want to
Thank
say that.
you. Thank you so much. I just got done working out, so I was like, okay, I have to make myself look presentable a little
No,
bit.
you're good. You're totally good. You look great. You look absolutely amazing. No question. I want to say thank you for
Mhm.
allocating your time to me this Saturday morning, coming on my podcast, Work Hard, Play Hard. I really do appreciate it. How's your week been going so far?
It's been good. We just got back on Monday, actually. This past weekend, we were in the regionals for my brother's baseball team, Stetson. So this week, it's just kind of been getting back into a routine and unpacking laundry, all that stuff. But it's been good.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I wanna reiterate to you, Jay, before I start peppering you with all these questions, of why I wanted to have you on here. I know that you interned at Kennesaw State University. One of the things that intrigued me the most, because I went there for my undergrad, and I'm also pursuing a master's there too. I graduate December of 25.
Yeah.
Getting my master's in professional writing. But I pursued some in journalism there, and I love talking to other Kennesaw State students that want to do broadcast journalism, that want to be in sports. And you're also a D1 collegiate player at
hmm
UCF and at Kennesaw. So it's intriguing to always talk to like-minded people, likewise people who want to be in this industry, who has a story to tell, because everybody does, and your story is just as special as anyone else's. So that's why I wanted to have you on here.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you reaching out to me and giving me the time to tell my story and share some insight because it's been a crazy ride. And I'm super thankful for Kennesaw and I know Hootie Hoo, all the alumni.
Oh, you ain't lying about that. All right, I'm with you on that. Well, let's get to the first question, which is the same for every guest that I have here on the platform, and that is, what is your why? Why do
Hmm.
you do what you do? Did you have any role models, any inspirations growing up? What is your story behind wanting to be in the broadcast journalism industry?
So my why has always been because I'm passionate about sports and telling other people's stories. Being a student athlete has a lot to do with that. A lot of
Mm.
the times people just say the name on the front of the jersey. They don't talk about the person that's behind that or in that jersey. And so for me, I just wanted to tell people stories from a very early age. I have two younger siblings, so my family has been really supportive of my journey both in athletics and academics. And my career outside of that as well. So they're a big reason why I do what I do as well. I grew up in around professional sports with my dad. He was a professional baseball coach, player before I was born, or while I was a kid. But I just grew up around professional sports my whole life and being in that environment and getting to see all sides of he played baseball and coached baseball. So getting to see all sides of that game from the front office to the players was super cool for me to just grow up around and allowed me to mature at a young age. And so he's been a really big role model for me and just how I carry myself, my professionalism, and then also like that competitive spirit and fire to just go after what you want.
Yeah, I typically do, and that's a great answer, Jay, by the way. I typically do a little bit of research on
Hmm.
everybody that I have on here. Now I know you're a defender, so I
Hmm.
can understand that competitiveness. You don't want people to score on you, a
Absolutely
defender
not.
as a soccer player. So I'm pretty sure you got that competitive fire. Does that let me ask this kind of bonus question.
Hmm.
Is it very competitive around the household with you and your siblings? Because you know, when you're the
Oh
older
yeah.
sibling, the
Hmm.
younger siblings always want to try to compete with you. Is it like that?
Absolutely. I mean, used to play board games as a family, and that was, if you didn't win that, you were getting made fun of, whether it
Mm.
was just a board game or my brother and I used to work out together all the time, especially during COVID when we were all together.
Hmm.
Just always competitive, always pushing each other, always loving, but, we
Yeah.
always push each other to want to be better. That stemmed from both my parents and all of us five together. So we were a very, very competitive household.
I know that's right. I'm three or four. So
Hmm.
I'm an only child on my mom's side, but on my
Hmm.
dad's side, I have three other brothers. So I
Okay.
have two older brothers, and then I
Mhm.
have one younger brother. And you know, the younger brother always wants to try to beat you in everything and try to compete with you the most. And it's like, look, you're here, I'm here.
Mhm. Are
It's
you
just
guys
like
similar
that.
in age? Are you guys close in age at all?
We're about 9 years apart.
Okay. Okay.
9 years apart. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The older brothers were about a couple years. So the older
Okay.
brothers, yeah, we're more closer than age. So that's
I
for
got
sure.
you. I got
Okay, that's what's up. Now we talked about it. You went to UCF first.
you.
So I'm thinking you're from Florida.
Yes. Yeah. I'm from
Okay.
Orlando, Florida, a little town called Oviedo. That's like 15 minutes down the street from UCF, actually.
So quick story before I get into the next question. First
Hmm.
time that I went to Orlando, I don't know if you ever heard of this event, I should say, called Podcast Fest.
No, I haven't heard of it.
So Podcast Fest, it happened in Orlando.
Hmm.
This past year in January. And it was my first time ever going to Orlando. And it was amazing. Like my hotel was right by Denny's,
Hmm.
which is one of my favorite restaurants to go
Yeah.
to. Yeah, it was great. It was like I never heard of the podcast Fest Expo, but
Mhm.
I went to it was a bar where they have you can get inside like it's like a spa beer. It's like
Oh,
a beer spa bar that's there
wait,
in
that's
Orlando.
so cool.
Yeah, it
I've
was
never heard of
different.
that, and I've lived here most of my life.
It's crazy. Like you can get in the actual spa, but you're drinking beer, and it looks like it's beer. Like it's
Wow.
a beer spa kind of thing. It was one of the most amazing things that I ever did.
Did
It
you
was
get a
back in January.
pedicure?
Right, right. I was thinking like Manny Petty, that'd be nice, right? And it was
Yeah.
actually pretty cool because it was a couple. You can get in one by yourself, or
Hmm.
you can get into one with a group, like you're
Oh,
sitting in a jacuzzi or something like that. Yeah,
very cool.
you should definitely look that up for
I'm
sure.
gonna check that out for sure.
I want to ask you though, was UCF your first choice? Was that always the school that you wanted to go to? And if not, what are some of the schools that you looked at before you decided to go to UCF?
So that is actually a crazy story. Soccer recruiting starts or recruiting in general starts way early in high school. And
Mhm.
so my spring semester of my freshman year of high school, I went to UCF. It was my first ever college visit. And at the
Mhm.
time, I told my head coach, Tiffany Roberts Sadak, who's still the coach there, that I wanted to go as far away from home as possible. And when I tell you, like, I grew up going to UCF soccer camps when I was a kid. I sang in the little talent show. My mom probably saw as a video somewhere of me singing at
Wow.
the residential camp there. So I like grew up going to that school. And so I
Mhm.
told her that I wanted to go as far away from home as possible. And she told me that I changed my mind. Um, and so throughout those 2.5 years before I decided to commit there, I toured UNC Charlotte. Kennesaw actually did reach out to me. I did go on a visit there. And when I was before I committed to UCF, there was a bunch of smaller schools. There were a little like some bigger ones that were on the West Coast that I thought were too far away.
Mhm.
But I remember we were in what city? I think we were in DC.
Okay.
We were with my dad, um, touring with baseball like we always used to do. And I just decided that day, one summer, I was like, I just felt this calling, and this like peace about going there for some reason. A lot of the other schools that I had toured, there was just something off, or they wanted me to commit super early and I wasn't ready, or just the financial situation wasn't right for me and my family. So
Sure.
I just felt this like peace about going there. And I called Coach Tiff and I said, I think I'm going to change my mind and I really want to be a knight. And from there on, that was my decision. So I 180 flipped my mindset and decided to stay home.
So at the end of the day, mother knows best, right?
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what she said. She said you'll change your mind. She
Yeah.
did.
She was
Okay.
so she looked me right in my face when I told her to her face that I wanted to go as far. I was like, "Thank you for this visit. This is amazing." Because at the time, I felt like I knew everything about the school, and I thought I was too big for my britches, honestly.
Right.
And she told me that I was going to change my mind, and I ended up doing it.
Well, shout out to Mrs. Barkett.
Yeah.
I'm a huge mama's boy, so
Mhm.
I'm huge into that. So that's awesome. That's what's up. Okay, I like that. Let me ask you, when Kennesaw was recruiting you, was Benji still the coach or no?
Yep.
He
Hmm.
was.
She was a
Okay,
coach. Hmm.
got you. Awesome. I love that. Jay, we're gonna get into some favorite questions. Okay,
Okay.
and you just give me the 411 off the rip based
Okay.
upon these favorite questions. Okay, so here we go.
Ready.
Favorite meal you like to cook?
Ooh, that I like to cook. My mom's chili is so good, and I brought that when I moved out, actually to Kennesaw, because I didn't really cook a lot at UCF. So when I moved up to Kennesaw and I had to, grow up a little bit, I implemented her chili into my every week meals, and it's very, very good.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you're still in Kennesaw or is still in
I'm in
Georgia, maybe.
Orlando now. I actually just moved back home a few weeks ago.
Okay, got you. I was gonna recommend a restaurant, but if when I do come back out the podcast fest
Yeah,
this next upcoming year, I'm gonna have to say what's up to you for sure because I love
please,
me some chili. I love me some chili for sure. Okay,
please.
that's what's up. I'm a tacos person.
Oh, good.
Anything tacos. Quick, fast. I love it. So anything that I'm with that.
Very good.
Favorite concert you've ever attended?
We went to Luke Bryan in Fenway Park in
Mm,
2018, I think, and that was so cool. They used the Green Monster was like the stage area, and then the
oh,
whole field was full of seats and people in a pit. It was so cool. That was awesome.
okay. I like that. Luke Bryan, no doubt about it. He's if I do listen to country, it's him, it's Morgan Wallen, it's Luke
Yeah.
Combs, those three in particular, plus Florida Georgia line, but I don't really consider them too much country. They're more kind of popish.
Yeah.
But those three main ones I definitely listen to for sure. And Fenway Park, that had to be amazing going there. I mean, that's historic. So
It
I
was
love that.
beautiful. Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay, okay, I like that. Mine would probably be um the I would say Kanye and Jay-Z.
Oh,
Kanye
I
and
bet that was electric.
it was because the undercard was Trey Songz and Young Jeezy. So
Wow.
yeah, so it was really
Wait,
good.
that's so cool.
Yeah, that was dope. It was dope. I was super young, but it was dope. No question. It was a great time. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Ooh, that's a really tough one. That's so tough because with my dad's job, we got to just pack up every summer and just go to whatever city he was coaching in and then drive to the away games.
Hmm.
Um, but one year we went to this little town in Maine called Ogunquit,
Oh,
and it was actually the most beautiful. It was a town basically on a cliff. And super beachy vibes, very peaceful. Everyone was so nice. We were only there for a weekend. It was just a little weekend visit, but I still think about it and I really want to go back. Either that or we lived in the Dominican Republic when I was in middle school. Um,
mm.
Again, dad was working down there, he was coaching, and we got to see all sides of the island, the most, beautiful parts and the beaches and the resorts. Then we got to see the poorest parts of the island and the mountains, and we got to rebuild a church there and help kids during around Christmas time. So
Oh,
that
that's
was a really
awesome.
cool experience as well. So I would say those two places.
Well, I definitely have it on the bucket list of mine to visit all the states
Mm,
in the U.S. I visited most of them. Maine is not one that I've been to yet, but I definitely would love to go there and see that because they tell me it's very a beachy type vibe, and I'm
mhm.
huge into scenery and
Mm.
beaches and stuff like that. And I'll take photos. I'll walk
Oh yeah.
around. I love stuff like that.
It is that was the most aesthetic town I've ever seen in my life. So you definitely have to check it out.
I got you. And I have to give you a call about the Dominican Republic because I
Mhm.
am going on a cruise, I
Oh,
would say early next year.
okay.
And DR is going to be one of the spots. So I
Yeah,
got to give you a call to see where should I go for sure. So
please. Please.
absolutely. That's what's up. Um, my favorite place is Jamaica, by the way. I
I've
went
never
on
been.
put it on the bucket list, Jade. Definitely
Yeah.
put it on the bucket list. Whether you go with friends, family, whoever, Jamaica is just a beautiful spot. Now it is hot. Don't get me wrong. It's boiling
It's
hot. But that's okay. That's all right. I didn't mind that at all. The food there was amazing. Their
mm,
jerk chicken is to die for.
mm.
Um, and yeah, so I went with my dad and family on that side. Last October we went on a cruise, and that was one of our 4 stops was Jamaica. So
Oh,
it was
that's
pretty cool.
beautiful.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person?
That's so hard. I feel like I love watching basketball both in person and on TV.
Mm.
But
Jade, you just won my heart. You just won my heart, Jade.
basketball is so exciting to me. But I love watching soccer, obviously. More
Yeah.
in person though than on TV. I
Mhm.
would say soccer in person, basketball on TV.
Nothing like an Atlanta United game, especially
Mm.
in the supporter section when they're
Oh,
all
yeah.
standing up and they're like cheering loud and they do not sit down until that
No.
45th, 46th, 47th minute and it's halftime.
Hmm.
It's so crazy over there in the Mercedes Benz. It was wild when I was over there. I'm in Minnesota now, but when I
Okay.
lived there and attended Kennesaw State University, yeah, it was just electric. It was so amazing. So I totally get that. Who's your favorite basketball team?
Well, this is not a bandwagon, but my family is from Oklahoma, so the Thunder has always been a part of like my life.
Mhm.
But the team that I feel like I've followed the most is the Magic, just because of home.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm a Lakers fan.
Okay.
And the reason being is that I grew up in San Diego.
Okay. Valid.
So I grew up where, I was idolizing Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh Kobe is the reason why I wanted to get into sports. That's why I'm a
Mm.
sports reporter now. And I always loved the Lakers. And
Yeah.
we didn't have a team in San Diego, so the team was the Lakers. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. I love that. That's pretty cool though.
Thank you.
Last of the favorites, Jade, and that's favorite restaurant that you
Ooh.
like to eat out at. I'm a huge person that loves to travel. Like I said, I will definitely be back in Orlando. So I need to know what is some restaurants out there that's pretty good to eat at.
That's so hard. There's so my favorite food to like eat out is Mexican. When you said tacos, like that was um like the first thing that came to my head. There's this place in here at home called Agave Azul.
Hmm.
The best food, best drinks. Their guac is amazing. Every time I go there, I get shrimp tacos and they're like actually exceptional every single time. I've never been there that's like bad at all. There or I don't really know. That's kind of like my staple when I go out to eat here. Honestly, agave azul. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, it's you're gonna make me blush. And you know how hard that is to do with pigmentation like this. It's very hard. Mexican is definitely my number one, my
Hmm.
number one favorite as well. Two is Italian.
Mm.
I do like Italian food as well, but I could not. Well, I didn't have a whole lot of time to kind of go out and search around because I was
Hmm.
there for about 3, 4 days. I like to go there a little bit more,
Yeah.
a little bit longer next time. But I'm checking out that restaurant because I'm a
Yeah.
huge steak tacos. So I love steak tacos
Yeah.
and chicken tacos. That's what I love for
Very
sure.
good. 60
Absolutely.
Vines is another good place. It's over in Winter Park,
Mhm.
a little bit outside of Orlando, but 60 Vines is very good for breakfast, brunch. They have like lunch and dinner stuff too, but it's so good for brunch.
Okay, now you're talking. I
Yeah.
love me some brunch. A Belgian waffle for me is pretty good. So that's what I like. Okay, got you. I like that. Let's talk about day-to-day operations.
Okay.
Now I don't know as far as what you do now, but I do know that you were covering games, calling games, and on the sideline doing your thing. And obviously as a reporter, your job is never the same.
Yep.
Every day is different. You're doing something different. You're calling a different game, different sport, different team, and really just trying. And when your role changes from the sideline to in the booth, it also changes there. Tell me,
Absolutely.
uh, tell me about your day-to-day operations when you was in the booth or when you was on the sideline. How did you prepare yourself to be able to do those kind of roles?
Yeah, so normally we'll have a coach's call to get background on both teams, whether
Hmm.
it was a Kennesaw. So we had, when I was covering Kennesaw State softball as a color analyst, we had a coach's call before the weekend series. If they had a
Hmm.
midweek game, we would do it a few days before, and everyone would be on it from the producer to the people in the booth. And we would ask questions about the team if they were on the road, little nitpicky things about certain players, just to kind of get around the team more. Usually I would go out to a practice and try to talk to a few of the girls or just observe in general to get a feel for the squad or what the mood's like going into each series or each game. And then day of the game, I love to go on walks and work out and just kind of get my mind going before the game. And then I need to be like very early to things. That's how I always am. So I'll probably get to the field 2 to 3 hours before the game starts. I'll go into the control room, say hi to everybody, go over graphics, make sure that we're all on the same page for the open, and then I'll go back in the booth, either write out my open, write down notes for it, talk to the other analyst or color or play by play, whatever I'm not doing that day. Just hang out for a little bit, chat with everyone. Sometimes I'll go down to the field and talk to the players or coaches a little bit just to say hi
Absolutely.
and see what they're doing and how they're feeling. Most of the time on game days, I'll go over to the other coach if we didn't get to talk to them on a coach's call. And even if we did, just to introduce myself and put more of like a physical presence because
Sure.
we just want to be more personable with people and create those connections just so they are more
Absolutely.
comfortable with you talking about them on the broadcast. So I'll go over and say hi and ask them a few questions with the play-by-play. And then we record the open and it's game time. Yeah.
I love that. I do. And I love what you just said about you being a presence, right? A
Hmm.
lot of times when you have these coaches calls and these conference calls, they hear voices, but they don't put
Right.
faces to some of the voices. And it's really important, especially being in this industry. We want to try to build as much network and connections as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
Because the more networks and connections that you have, the more information that people are
Mhm.
willing to allocate to you.
Yeah,
And also, you just never know down the line where someone could help you out, which
absolutely.
I try to tell people that all the time, especially using this platform as my podcast to be able to not just hear people's stories, but also, and not just share information between people, but also enlighten them
Yeah.
from what I've done as well. Being here in Minnesota and
Mhm.
also working there in Atlanta. I worked with the Marietta Daily Journal and the
Mm.
Cherokee Tribune Ledger when I was there in Atlanta, covering
Yeah.
football, baseball, lacrosse, and basketball. And I would do the same thing. I do like to show up early.
Yeah.
And people used to give me a hard time for that. They used to give me a real hard time. Like, why are
Me
you
too.
showing up this early? Like, you have to, number one,
Mhm.
because coaches get in the zone at a certain time frame. At a
Right.
certain time frame, you kind of want to leave them alone.
Right.
Uh, and only people who are in an athlete kind of sense or athletic kind of sense know that. And whether you played D1, you played at a collegiate level. I played at a high school level, but I know at some point I don't want to be bothered, and
Right.
as you don't want to be bothered either. You want to get locked in and get into the zone. So you show
Right.
up early, and you talk to the coaches, and you talk to the assistant coaches, and you say hello to people, and you kind of ingratiate yourself with
Mhm.
what is going to be going on that day because you just never know. You never know what gems you might get that day from people that
Mhm.
you sure.
Absolutely. And then from a sideline perspective, I always like to go to shoot around for both teams.
Hmm.
Just so again I can get the vibe, get a feel for how intense is this coach? What is shoot arounds like? Are they more chill or are they fast paced like we're getting ready for the game right now? And
Right.
similar to when I was doing color for softball for sideline. Always get there early. I'll usually sometimes get ready there at the convo or in the arena just because it makes me feel better because I sometimes get anxious before, obviously, or I always get anxious before, but it just calms me down when I'm there and I have all my things and I get to talk to the other color commentators or the play-by-play analysts. So we're all on the same page and so we all just coordinate it all together to make a good show because at the end of the day, it's a presentation basically for the audience. As much as I
Right,
do good, it's a show for them too. So
right.
I always like to do that. And sideline is so fun because you have kind of more of a script, I guess, to say of when you would talk, but you also get to sell your points because you're right there and you get to see it all. So I love the difference between the color and sideline of sharing, oh, I have a story right now, like send it to me, this would work perfectly. And then color, I get to kind of share my opinion more and just pop in whenever.
Which is a great
Mhm.
segue to the next question is which one do you like doing more? Do you like the color play by play or do you like actually walking up and down the sidelines and being able to, share those stories on the sideline?
That is so hard because this was my first semester or first 5 months, 4 months of doing color. So I had never been a color analyst before they allowed me to basically be the color for softball this year.
Hmm.
And I've done sideline for the past 3 years now with across all sports at UCF and Kennesaw. So I feel like I have more experience with sideline, but color was so interesting to me because I didn't know the line, if that makes sense. I didn't know whether I could call an umpire out of what I thought was a ball or a strike.
Sure.
Obviously, he or she couldn't hear me, but can I say my opinion on that? But sideline, I am a curious person, and also having that athlete perspective, I know. I want to know certain questions or certain types of things of what made you think that way? What made you pass that ball? What was going through your head there? And so
Right.
sideline kind of gives me the ability to not jab, but kind of get the edge of what happened there or why did you do that or what made you that decision. So I don't know if I can pick a favorite necessarily because they're so different, but also similar in the way of trying to get to the facts or get to the reasons why. But they're both different and similar enough for me to say I can't pick a favorite, if that's okay.
No, that's all right. That's totally fine. And listen, that's as diplomatic of an answer that you can give. No question about it.
I
No
wasn't
question.
trying to be. I wasn't trying to be.
But that's awesome. I really love that you enjoy both.
hmm
And obviously you do well in both of them. There's no question about that. Anybody that's seen your work would say the same thing for sure. What is your favorite sport to report on?
Yeah.
You talked about softball, you talked about shoot around, so those are softball and basketball.
Mhm.
But do you have a favorite sport that you like to report on?
So I haven't been able to do all sports. I've done softball and baseball sideline, softball color. I actually had the opportunity to do football sideline this past year with Kennesaw State, which was actually a dream for me. I've always wanted to be on a football sideline,
Yeah,
um, and do that from that perspective. I would say out of the sports that I have done, I really like I really like doing basketball sideline and baseball I know the most about from like a sport
right,
perspective, all sides of it. So I
right.
think I'm the most comfortable maybe doing baseball sideline, but I really like basketball or football, honestly. Yeah, those are
That's
my
what I'm talking about, girl. That's what
Mhm.
I'm talking about. I love to hear that for sure. Um, let's talk about mental health
Yeah.
and work-life balance. Being in this industry, and I've been in this industry now for about 7 years, with
Mm.
the combination of Atlanta and here, and now doing it freelance, covering professional sports at times. Mental health. Sometimes this could be kind of a lonely space
Yeah.
because we work nights and weekends. We have awkward schedules. And we cover all different kinds of events. We travel.
Yeah.
And unless you are dealing with people that either are A1 since day ones that know your schedule, or people that's likewise in the same industry as you, people that's on the outside don't really understand what your schedule is. They just don't.
Yeah.
Um, Talk to me about your mental health and how you keep that strong, but also try to have work-life balance because I do follow you on social media. You seem like you have a pretty good time outside of doing your job, which is great. You should, right? So talk to me about how you keep that work-life balance, but also keep your mental health strong so you don't have burnout.
Yeah, I love that you brought up mental health. I am a big advocate for mental health, both on the athlete side and now in the professional space, because I feel like it's not talked about enough, especially in a professional standpoint of we just have to go, 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 go. Um,
Hmm.
and so for me, my mental health journey has kind of been all over the place.
Mm.
Very high highs and some really low lows, both from an athlete's and a professional side. I've dealt with a lot of am I good enough? What am I doing? Does anybody think I'm good? Like, what is the point of all of this?
Hmm.
And then I've experienced, some excitement of you're doing great and you're on the right track and this is going to happen for you and all of that stuff. So I've experienced both ends of the spectrum when it comes to the mental health side of things. And I feel like making time for yourself is the most important part when you're busy running around doing things. When I was and after I graduated in December, I went straight into working in Kennesaw and I actually had three jobs. So I was
Mm.
working in broadcast with softball at Kennesaw. I
Hmm.
was also doing projects with them. And then I was working in a restaurant. And then I was also working at Overtime in Atlanta, the basketball league. So I was going nonstop. And there was a point in these past 5 months where I didn't really check in with myself. And I didn't ask myself, hey, how are we doing? What makes
Right.
Jade happy when she's just by herself, And
Right.
how can I take a moment to just pause and breathe and say, it's not about anything else right now, but just taking some quiet time or taking some alone time for myself. And I feel like I tried to implement things, little like mental health walks outside or reading,
Hmm.
which I love to do. And I kind of strayed away from that. And my aunt she's a bookworm like me, and she got me back into reading and just taking that mental break of it's okay to check out for a second and not be so go, 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 go. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Because
Absolutely.
it swept me up and I didn't really know how to pause it or take a step back for a second. But I just feel like it's so important to talk about it and ask people how they're doing because
Hmm.
I'm sure you've heard the saying of check in on your friends or your happiest friends could be going through your lowest moments and you
Right.
know. And so I feel like that transition time of being in school and being an athlete just straight into working was a lot for me. And I didn't really know how to handle it until I took a step back and was like, okay, we're at a point right now where we could go really south or we can need to pick ourselves up and figure it out. Which is so hard to do, especially when I had my family up there, my extended family up there in Georgia with me, but my core five or four other people weren't with me. And so I had to just really figure out like, okay, how are we going to fix this or change this or just check in with myself. And I feel
Right.
like just knowing that you're at like recognizing, okay, I may need help or I need to talk to somebody or I just need to take a second and pause everything is so, so important. And I feel like the work-life balance of doing what you're passionate about is so
Mhm.
exciting and it can be the most just like fulfilling thing for you. But then
Without question.
when it gets to a point of, okay, but like who am I in all of this? That's where you need to just take a second and take a step back and say, how can we fix this and how can I get better?
I love that.
Yeah.
And you gave terrific answers all conversation long, but that's a really, really good answer. And the reason why I like to ask that question is because people need to know this is a beautiful industry.
Hmm.
When it comes to sports reporting or anything that you're reporting on, doesn't matter the genre, this is a very beautiful industry. But you got to know the ins and outs
Yeah.
because some people when they see you on the field, Jay, they're like, man, she's out there sideline reporting. Sometimes she got it made. She's over here doing this, on that. She's on the go, go, go. And they don't know that any of these feelings are coming into your mind, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't know, except the close ones to you that you may let in and let them know. And you do feel these things. It's
Hmm.
natural. I've definitely felt it when I moved up here to Minnesota because I have no family up here. And as I told you, I'm a huge mama's boy. I love
Yeah.
my dad too. My dad's in New York, my mom's in Georgia. And I
Mhm.
moved up here chasing a dream
Yeah.
because I love sports reporting and I love doing what I do. I love talking to kids, high school, college, all that.
Hmm.
but I knew that my mental health was being affected because I wasn't around family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you have to check in with yourself. You can't always be on the go, go, go. And
Yeah.
that's what I did. I was at first when I came up here, I was go, 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 go all the time. Yep,
Hmm.
I'll do this. Yep, I'll do that on my off days. Yeah, I'll do this. Sure, no problem. Okay, you need because I wanted the reps. Just
Right.
like you probably wanted the reps
Yep.
too. You just want the reps and you want to keep doing it and keep doing it because you love it passionately. But
Hmm.
then you look up and you like, well, damn, I am a little exhausted. I'm a little
Right.
tired,
Right.
and I'm doing a disservice to my body and to my mind.
Hmm.
So you have to take a step back, and then you
And
got to go ahead.
no, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
But to that point, I just wanted to say it's I had to learn when to say no. And because I was always, yes, yes, I'll go out there. Yes, I'll film
Absolutely.
that. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll pick up that. And any job that I had, whether it was broadcasting or not, I was trying to make
Right.
money and help support myself and whatever. So
Right.
was learning when to say no for me and know that that's not a detriment to my professional standpoint. And
Mhm.
this industry is so incredibly competitive, and having people around you that are, yes, pushing you to be better but also uplifting. And I feel like the group that I had at Kennesaw, the interns that I was with from my first year there to this past 5 months that I was there still helping out, we were so encouraging for each other. How can we get better? Critiquing each other's videos, obviously in a respectful way, but we just want each other to be better. And so having those people around me allowed me to make mistakes and be creative and get better while also just uplifting one another and pushing each other to chase that dream and get better and um in such a competitive industry where you feel like sometimes everyone's just trying to step over you to get to the next place.
For sure. And
Yeah.
you definitely have some of those people like that. And it is a blessing to be able, like you said, have interns in a solid group
Hmm.
that not only you can have family to go and talk to, but friends to talk to. Because I always tell people that, family is great to talk to, but sometimes family tells you what you want to hear. When
Yeah.
you got to have those outsiders sometimes that's going to critique you with the most respect, but
Right.
also give you honest opinions.
Right.
You definitely need that for sure.
Mhm.
Great segue though to this next question, and that is advice. What is some advice that you would give someone that wants to be in the broadcast journalism, right? Wants to be in this industry, wants to be in sports reporting. What is some advice that you would give someone if they said, "Hey, Jade, I'm looking for some advice."
I I've been given so much good advice over the past 5 years, I guess I've been in school, and the past three and a half doing this now.
Hmm.
Um, but something that I didn't do and originally was just be where my feet are. And my dad always used to tell me that when I was a kid is if you're somewhere, then you're meant to be somewhere. I firmly believe that wherever you're at in life is where you're supposed to be in that moment. And um not necessarily planting roots, but chasing what's in front of you.
Right,
And what I would say to other people is don't let anybody tell you that you can't or you're not good enough for it because we're all blessed and built with the unique skill sets to do exactly what we're meant to do in life. And
right,
I know that if I didn't have the platform of sports or being just a presence and I can talk in front of a camera or whatever, then I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do and I wouldn't have the passion for the things that I do. And a lot of
right,
times, especially with women in this industry, and thank goodness in 2025 we're getting more recognition, but there a lot of times women aren't looked at for jobs or put in positions where we might think we should be. And so my best advice to someone is don't let anybody tell you that you can't because you absolutely can. And if you have the passion and the drive and the just want to do it, you will get into those rooms and you will shine regardless.
love that.
Yeah.
I do. I really do love that, Jade. And I've. It's great that you said that because me being here and me, covering state championships, section championships, one of the things that I want to do with this platform is I love talking to people, male and females, but I love talking to women more. I will say that because one, I feel like their voices should be heard even more.
Mm,
We need more women in sports media because 35% of women watch sports. That just generates the revenue for watching all kind of sports. That's
mhm,
one. Number two, it makes our industry even more popular, more money, more opportunities are allocated and stuff like that.
mhm,
And I just feel that when you go to some of these events, at least for me, you don't see a lot of women. And
mhm,
I don't see a lot of women covering stuff. I don't see a lot of women taking photos. You just don't see a lot of women.
mhm.
And to me, that's a shame
Yeah.
because there's a stigma that's saying, well, women should only be doing sideline reporting.
Mhm.
No, I don't think that should be it because you've seen mostly women do sideline reporting. It doesn't mean that they only should be doing sideline
Right.
reporting. Beth Mowins, Doris Burke,
Mhm.
um, those are the first two that comes to my mind. But
Mhm.
Jessica Mendoza, another
Yeah.
one. These are great play-by-play people. These are great broadcasters that are women that do it at a very high level. Beth
Yeah.
Moen does multiple sports, as I
Mhm.
know. So I just think that for that advice is
Yeah.
so key, and so good. Like you should definitely not ever feel like you can't do it because you
Right.
can't, no
Yeah.
question.
And funny story, I was at the regional this past weekend and I got to cover their Saturday game against Auburn. And in the
Okay.
post press conference, I walk in and I'm not a shy person by any means, but I really don't like when people just kind of stare for like no reason. Um, and so I walk in the post game press conference, I put all my stuff down, and we hadn't
Right.
started yet. It was just right after the game had ended. So I walk in there and I'm looking around, I'm like, there is not another woman in here. There is not another woman sitting in these chairs asking questions. I walked around and I had to like move someone's backpack so that I could
Wow.
get a seat in there. And it frustrated me, but it was also empowering because I shot my hand in the air to ask, three, four questions. And
Yeah.
they're all looking at me like, who is this girl? Like random, and I was
Hmm.
the only female in there. And it, I was nervous for sure because obviously and even in the media room upstairs at the stadium, they all stared at me and there was a few girls, but I'm loud and I'm just very much, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? When I walk in a room. Um, so
I
I
love that.
it was a little bit uncomfortable, but it was also like, dang, where are the women? Like, where are the girls? Like,
Hmm.
let's get in here and let's ask the questions. And if nobody wants to ask it, I'll shoot my hand up in the air to ask a second one back to
Right.
back. And
Right.
it's interesting. And I was talking to my parents about it because it made me a little bit upset. I think it was an emotional weekend and it was an emotional day, but I was upset after the game because it was just like, dang, where are like the people and why are these men just kind of staring or not moving the backpack over so I can sit in the chair and do this, be right alongside you and ask similar questions that you're asking to them, and we can all be in this space together. So I just thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to share that story.
No, I appreciate you doing that because more people need to hear about that.
Yeah.
And the more people they hear about it, but when you talk to somebody that actually been in those rooms, and we
Mhm.
know how condensed those media rooms are, when you go into the room and you have those chairs and you got
Mhm.
people setting up their cameras and their
Mhm.
selfie sticks, laying their stuff down. Yeah, I totally understand what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Um, the PWHL, which is the Professional Women's Hockey League,
Mhm.
right? The Minnesota Frost ended up winning the championship again, which is great. But I
Mhm.
covered a few games on there. Now, I was the only African American male there.
Mm.
There was no other African American male, and there was
Mm.
only two other women that was
Mm.
covering this. And it was interesting
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, people are looking at me like, well, why is this African American male here covering professional women's sports? Well, number one, it's a sport that's worth covering. Number
Right.
two, they're the defending champions in this league and they're
Right.
professionals. So it's important. It's important
Right.
for this to be covered. So regardless of what you think and stuff like that, it's important. And
Yeah.
I think that story that you just said shows why.
Mhm.
Why it even stamps it even more why I do this and why we should be an advocate for more women in sports. My graduate capstone project which I told you I'm graduating in
Mhm.
December, is actually a feature story.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's a feature story about the inequalities of women's sports reporting
Mm.
as far as pay, opportunities, and treatment.
Wow.
So I've gotten some names, Diana Rossini,
Mm.
Sarah Spain,
Hmm.
Katie Barnes, Amber Wilson,
Yeah.
and I have about 10 more
Wow.
ladies that I'm gonna be talking to, getting quotes from them, talking about those inequalities because I
Yeah.
think that's very important. I'm a huge advocate for that because I just feel that, yeah, and not that's not to demean the men because I love my
Right.
brothers that's in sports
Right.
reporting, no
Right.
question,
They're
but
great.
we definitely need more female faces in the room.
Yeah.
It's just there's no question about it. But it can't happen unless us men also talk about it. It can't
Yeah.
just be women talking about it. We got to
Right.
also bring it up too.
I think that's amazing that you're doing your capstone, right? Your
Yeah.
capstone. That's yeah, your capstone project on that. Just for awareness and just yeah, the discussion around it because there is space for everyone, regardless of your race, your ethnicity, your gender. There is a space for every single person if you're passionate about sports and you want to tell stories and you want to talk sports, you want to share your opinion, you want whatever you want to do. There's a space for every single person in this industry, regardless. And I think, I hope one day there's a space where we're all just pursuing the story or pursuing us the sport or pursuing the team or the league and not looking at each other sideways or giving side eyes when we're in the same rooms together because we're all here supposed to be doing the same thing and
Right.
about the same thing and the common goal is sport and that's what's supposed to unite everybody. That's why I love sports so much and
Hmm.
getting to tell stories and laugh and get the minute things of why someone ticks the way they do and or why someone, bounces a ball 5 times instead of two. You know what I'm saying? The small things like we're
Absolutely.
trying to chase after that instead of chasing after, why is she here? Or why is he here? Or why is he in this room? So I really, really appreciate
Absolutely.
that you're doing that.
Well, thank you very much, Jay. Thank you. I appreciate that. We've came to the portion of the podcast now where I'm going to do an interactive game with you called This
Oh,
or That.
okay.
So, what the game is that I throw some topics out at you and you get
Mhm.
to choose this or that. So, Jade, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
Okay, let's rock with it. You're gonna do great. You're gonna kill it. Here's the first question.
Okay.
Which restaurant would you choose to go to?
Okay.
Popeyes or KFC?
I've never been to either. Is that terrible?
Oh my goodness. Oh
So
Lord. Jade.
I'd probably pick Popeyes though, I'm not gonna lie. But
Okay.
I've never been to either. That's so terrible. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Okay. So if you can, I want you to say when I come down there to Orlando, let's go to Popeyes for the first
Okay.
time. Okay.
I'll
Okay.
skip it.
Popeyes at least. And you picked the right one, by the way. You picked the right one. But but man, to never
I
go to
know,
any
isn't that terrible? Isn't that so
woo.
bad?
So hold on. So I mean, obviously outside of cooking chicken,
Hmm.
where do you go to get chicken when you go out?
Chick-fil-A. I'm not really like I eat
Oh,
pretty good. I try to eat pretty healthy and not no, I'm not trying to knock Popeyes or KFC or any other fast food chain because, I'll definitely get some chicken nuggets from anywhere. But I will normally go to Chick-fil-A if I'm gonna get some chicken. Not
I
gonna lie.
feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Okay, I got you.
Not starting
Let's
off
do
strong. Not starting
this.
off strong.
You know what? We got enough questions to redeem yourself. So
Okay.
let's get it. Here we go.
Okay.
Do you eat chicken wings?
Yes.
Okay, so which flavor of chicken wings would you put on a wing out of
Okay.
these two? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Probably barbecue.
Okay. Do you
Mhm.
like your wings wet or dry?
Wet.
Okay. And do you
Mhm.
like your wings bone in or boneless?
Either, but I really like bone in all flats.
Okay. You like it messy, don't you?
Yeah.
I like that. Now,
Yeah.
see, now you have officially redeemed yourself, so
Thank
it's
goodness.
okay. You're
Okay.
good. You're good. Now
Sweating.
we're back at square one. Here
Okay.
we
Okay.
go. Let's rock out with the rest of the questions.
All right.
If if there was a game on TV, okay, And which sport would you rather watch? Would you rather watch a football or a basketball game?
Basketball.
Okay. If you wanted to play a sport, which sport of these two would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Ooh, bowling, even though I'm terrible. I still need the bumpers sometimes.
Ooh,
Yeah. My
okay.
friends don't let me. My friends don't let me, but I really beg them. And sometimes I get my way and sometimes I don't.
Yeah, shout out to your friends
Yeah.
for the ones that's not letting you get the bumpers.
It's
Shout
time to
out to
grow
them.
up. It's
Yes,
time
yes,
to grow
yes. We gotta let the bumpers go. We definitely do. I like that though. Okay.
up.
Right, here we go. The next four questions have to do with music concerts that you rather attend.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. Which music concert would you rather go to? Would you rather go see J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick Lamar.
All right. Okay. We starting off good here. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Jay-Z or Lil Wayne?
Ooh, Lil Wayne. He just came out with an
Okay.
album too. I have to listen to it. I'm very excited.
It's fire. It's fire. I'm telling you
Good.
that right now. The Carter 6 is fire. I definitely
Good.
listen to it.
Good.
Okay. Okay. Which music concert would you rather go to? We named two of these artists already. Luke Combs or Morgan Wallen?
Morgan Wallen. I really love his new album too. I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop playing it.
You you got some great taste in music, girl. You do. You
Thanks.
do. Yes. The song that he had with Post Malone, I forgot the title
Mhm.
of it.
I'm
But
not coming back. I'm not
yes,
something
I'm
like
not
that.
coming back. One of
Yeah.
my favorites. One of my
So
favorite songs. Okay. Last one.
okay.
Which music concert would you rather go to? Would you rather see Casey Musgraves or Carrie Underwood?
Ooh. Ooh, I love them both. Carrie Underwood was like me growing up. Like I was,
Hmm.
singing Carrie Underwood.
Hmm.
I was a kid. It might be Casey Musgraves now though.
You sure?
If you asked me like 10 years ago, Carrie Underwood for sure, but now I would say Casey Musgraves.
Okay. You know what? I lied. I got another one for you. It just came
Okay.
up in my mind. Which
Okay.
concert would you rather attend? Would you rather go see Rihanna or Beyonce?
Rihanna. As soon as you said Rihanna, nobody else can compare.
Riri over B?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have been a Rihanna fan since Irreplaceable, like back, like even before then.
Mhm.
I,
So like SOS,
oh my gosh,
like
yeah.
Love the Way You Lie, which is a
To
classic.
the
That
left, to
song.
the left. Yeah, yeah, that's
All
me.
that. Okay. Well, hold on. To the left is Beyonce. That's Beyonce.
No,
To the
is it?
left, to the left. Yeah, that's irreplaceable.
In the back. Put this in. Don't put this in. This question actually just cut out the Rihanna part.
We can't do that.
Don't
Come
put that
on now.
in. Don't put don't put that in.
Come on now. This is real. This is real live interview stuff. That's okay.
No, don't put that
That just means
in.
you're human. That means you're human and we all make mistakes. You're listen, you can't be
I'm gonna
lovely
get
all the time.
flamed. Okay,
You listen, you're absolutely
well,
lovely.
maybe I like old Beyonce better. Sorry, everyone.
That's okay. That's all right. But listen, here we go. Do you like desserts?
Depending on the dessert.
Okay. So
Yeah.
here's what I'm going to do, Jade. I'm going to name four different categories of desserts.
Okay.
You have to choose one of these that you'll never eat again.
Never. Okay.
Never eat again. So here we go. First one is ice cream. The next one is candy. The next one is cookies.
Okay.
The last one is cake slash pies. Which one are you getting rid of?
Honestly, probably candy. I'm not a sweets like nerds. I don't really like those. I don't like candies. I like chocolate for sure, but I feel like that's separate than candy, right?
I think you have redeemed yourself again. I think you have, because I would have chose candy myself, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Ooh, cookie dough. So good.
No,
Or
it's not. Stop.
mint chocolate chip is very good as well.
Cookie dough is number one. Cookies
Mhm.
and cream is number two.
Yeah.
Fun fact, never had mint chocolate chip.
What? No
Mm-mm.
way.
No, I haven't. I'm serious. Yeah, I have never had mint chocolate chip.
Oh, so that okay, that kind of equates with like my Popeyes and KFC, I'm not gonna lie. That's how I feel about mint chocolate chip. Like that.
It might be. It might be on the same level because I've told some people that and I've gotten side eye because I did not have mint chocolate chip and I was like, I'm sorry, like
My bad.
my bad. I grew up where Baskin Robbins had 31 flavors. I
Mhm.
decided for two flavors. That's it.
There.
Cookie dough and cookies and cream. But
Simple.
I am open. I'm very open because if I can try sherbet, I damn sure can try mint chocolate chip. That's for sure. So eventually one day I will. I will
Mhm.
try it
I
for sure.
trust you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Jade. Do you like potato chips?
I do.
Okay, normally people that don't like sweets are real heavy on like salty stuff, like
Mhm.
pretzels and potato chips. So this is the same kind of format as
Okay.
for the desserts. Four brands of chips. You got to choose one of these you'll never eat again. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. First brand is Doritos.
Okay.
Second brand is Lay's. The third brand is Ruffles. The last brand is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Lay's and Ruffles can both go, honestly.
Oh hell no. No, you did not. Oh my goodness.
Lay's and Ruffles can both kick rocks. I don't
Oh
really
my
care as
goodness.
long as I have Doritos and the Lay's and like the can, like the tall cans, so good.
Mm. Oh my goodness. Listen, the Lays I can get down with, but when you said Ruffles, that's drawing the line. That is just drawing the line.
The only Ruffles I've ever had are like the cheddar ones, and they really upset my stomach. So I've just
Okay.
never had a good experience with them.
I understand. Those are actually my
Maybe I eat
favorite.
too many. Maybe I eat too many of them, and that's why they upset my stomach. But
Right. Right. They could be because it's hard to eat one of those. Like you
right,
you put your
right,
hand in the bag and then all of a sudden you put your hand in the bag, it's getting lower and lower, then damn, you're out. So it's
right,
like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. So
right.
okay. All right. Well, that's not terribly bad. Terribly bad. You did okay for
Okay,
this or that. Okay. Now there is a final question though.
okay.
Final question for this or that. I'm gonna ask you, which basketball player would you rather have for a game-winning shot? LeBron James or Steph Curry?
Steph. Sorry,
I
I
like
know.
it.
Yeah, but
I
Steph.
like it. I like it. No, no, that's okay. I like
I feel
it.
like he's more
Listen,
clutch. I don't know.
he can definitely shoot it better than LeBron. That's for
Yeah.
sure. No question about that. I like that though. You said Steph Curry, no hesitation there, so that was pretty good.
Hmm.
I want to ask you now about a top four. So I have a top four, and you're there in Orlando.
Hmm.
And it's actually two top four questions. But the first top four question is I want a top four things to do in Orlando, Florida.
Hmm.
Like I told you, I love to travel. I love to go places. I love seeing new things. The beer spa was something that was different. I don't know if I would
Yeah.
ever go back there, but I loved it. It was cool. Tell me what is when I touch down in Orlando, Florida at MCO Airport, what should I do?
When you walk out those humid doors, what should you do?
Yeah, you ain't
Um,
lying.
yeah, it is disgustingly humid here. Let's think. I think, first of all, the beach is like my home. I wish I was a mermaid. So, New Smyrna Beach, and Flagler Ave on New Smyrna Beach has a bunch of cute shops, restaurants. If you're into coffee, they have some super cute coffee places. You can play shuffleboard right there on the, side of the road, and it's just very beachy town vibes. I literally feel like I was raised there, honestly, with going there so much. So
Okay.
definitely have to check out New Smyrna Beach on Flagler Ave. Um, there's markets in Winter Park, like farmers markets. So
Mm,
cute. They have so many different vendors, from literally anything that you can think of. So I would definitely check that out as well. Um,
yeah.
And then theme parks, Universal, City Walk. My parents used to take me out of elementary school and surprise us, and me and my brother, we'd go to Disney before my sister was alive.
Mhm.
Before my sister was born. We would go to Disney all the time as a kid, and then now that I'm older, I still like Disney a lot. It holds a special place in my heart, but Universal is so much fun. I just found out that they made a Nintendo World, like basically
Wow.
Mario Kart in real life. Like that is, I feel like I need to go back right now, and I feel like I might be too much of an adult to do that, but I still
I'm a big kid, so I love
right,
stuff like that. I'm
right.
amazing. I love that.
And then City Walk, which is connected to Universal, has
Mhm.
bars and restaurants, mini golf, a movie theater. Um, and then the fourth thing I'd say is Disney Springs, which is separate from the parks. And it's similar to City Walk, but not as animated, I guess. Disney Springs is more chill. There's lots of restaurants. There's a big lake in the middle. They do concerts there. There's a venue for concerts there. I saw Giveon there with one of my best friends from UCF. That was like our first friend thing we did together, and it was like, okay, you like music, I like music, we're set. So that City Walk and Disney Springs are very, very similar, but they're very cool things to do too.
Yeah, Giveon. Are
Hmm.
you even real? I like that. I like that. Are you even real? I like that
Yeah,
with Giveon. Yeah, okay, that's fire. Do you know how fire that was? That top four?
that was
My
pretty good, right?
God. Hell yeah, that was good. Like seriously, I loved all of that you just said because growing up in California, I went to Universal Studios in Hollywood, but I've
Mm,
never been to any Universal Studios in Florida or went to Disneyland in Anaheim, but Disney World I've never been to. So I would love to at least go there now in my older years. Go
yeah.
there now. And that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Just to say that I went there because Space Mountain is always one of my favorite places
Yep, mine too.
to go to. Right. So I love that. And plus, I love concerts.
Mhm.
Fun fact: never had coffee.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
never had coffee. Yeah, I never
Ever?
had coffee. Never. Everybody in my family drinks it. To be honest with you, but I've never had it, and I was like, every time I go to Starbucks, I always get a smoothie instead of coffee. I'm weird. I know. I
That's
know.
okay. I mean, some people, well, you don't know if you don't like it unless you've ever tried it. So,
Right, right. So, and that's what my mother tells me all the time. Boy, you don't know if you like coffee, but
mhm.
it's addicting. It's addicting though. So, I was like, yeah, yeah, I understand. But, I just never had the urge. It's like smoking. Like I never had the urge to
Yeah,
do it. So
sure.
it's just one of those things. But yeah, I do like shuffleboard. I'm pretty competitive
Of
now
course,
when it
fun.
comes to
Yeah.
shuffleboard. So I'm pretty competitive on that for sure. I like the top four though. That's amazing. Okay. Now I'm really looking forward to coming out there again. That's what's up. This next top four is a top four of events that you would like to do in your journalistic career. And I'll go first and give you an example of the top four that I'm
Okay.
looking at. Um, Olympics
Mhm.
28, obviously coming to Los Angeles, which is my pretty much my hometown state of
Mhm.
California. I would love that. I don't care what event. I could be doing water polo. I don't give a damn what
Right.
it is. I just
Right.
want to do something. National college football game like championship or basketball, either one, Final Four. That would be amazing to do. Um, I did the Super Bowl this past year, so I was able to check
Wow.
one off my list. That was pretty cool. Being in New Orleans, that was great. That was amazing.
Goodness.
Um, I want to do the NBA Finals.
Mm,
NBA Finals. I would love to do that.
yeah.
And then the last one is definitely World Series because I'm
Mm.
a huge baseball person. Hopefully, my Padres will get there. Hopefully, they'll be great. Dang, yeah, I know, I get it. But I'm
Wishful
hoping.
thinking.
I'm hoping that they get there. I'm truly hoping. That's for sure. But yes, World Series. I love baseball. Grew up going to Padre games when the Padres and Chargers used to be in the same stadium.
Yeah.
And I love Petco Park. So yeah, that's just me. What is the top four for you, Jade?
I think number one would be the World Cup.
Mm.
That would be so, so cool. And again, I could just be there and covering it and doing my own thing. That would be so, so cool. Um,
Yeah.
College game day, either on the desk or hosting a segment of it. I that used to be my dream when I was a kid because I literally would turn it on every single week in the fall
Hmm.
before I was in college, and then even when I was in college, if we were at away games, I would turn it on and try to watch it a little bit, I guess. And I don't know, I just that is such like a core memory in my head. So college game day definitely be two. Three NBA finals for sure. I would
Okay.
absolutely love to be a part of any NBA finals. And then four would be I want my brother is most likely, hopefully, let's actually put it out in the air. He will be playing professional baseball. Um,
Yeah.
and I would love to cover one of his major league games one day. That would be really
I
cool.
could totally see that. I could definitely see that because, like I said, you're really terrific at what you're doing, and obviously, you're only going to get more better and better with more reps and reps that you do. But your passion really shows. I
Mhm.
think, like I said, anybody that sees you do it knows that. I love the fact that we both want to do NBA Finals. I would
Yeah,
love to see you on the sideline doing that. That'd be amazing,
you'd be like,
right?
"You did it."
That would be so awesome. It really would. I would love that. I didn't even think about the World Cup, but
Mhm.
wow, World Cup, that's coming here, what, in 26
Yeah,
in the
next
US?
year. And
Yeah.
in like Miami, Atlanta. I think there is a one in LA. I think so.
Hmm.
That there's a
I,
host
I
one.
would go to Atlanta because I still have family out there. So that would be amazing. Go see my mom, my aunt, my uncle, and then be able to go and do a World Cup. Yeah,
Hmm.
that'd be amazing. That would tip the, that would just be like, wow, that'd be awesome. I would love that. Okay, I like that. We talked about advice that you would give. But what is some advice that someone has gave you, Jade, that you hold on dearly to?
I want what my dad told me my whole life is be where your feet are. I I used to want to get it tattooed on me, but now it's just in my head always. But
Hmm.
it's just so I used to be so what's the next best thing? Where can I like what's gonna get me there? And again, the go, 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 go. And he actually he's told it to me since I was a kid, but he was like, this is like the truth though, is you have to be where your feet are because if you're not developing yourself and trying to extend your roots out where you are, then you're not going to get the growth that you're supposed to get from that moment or from that present space. And even if you didn't want to be in a place or you didn't expect to be somewhere, you're there for a reason
Right.
and just digging down deep and putting those roots down and trying to figure out, what is my purpose for being here or why am I here? But being present in that moment or in that space or in that time frame of life is something that I hold so, so, so dear for me.
I love that. I
Yeah.
do. It's great advice. Great advice for that. I typically like to ask all Kennesaw State alumni people this question, and it's a two-part question. One, is Waffle House overrated?
I honestly don't think so because coming from Florida, we don't
Okay.
have them. Like we
Mhm.
I don't see Waffle Houses anywhere, right? And in
Right.
Georgia, there's one in a half-mile radius from the next one. So
Hmm.
I only really went there or got food from Waffle House maybe a handful of times in the 2 years that I was at Kennesaw.
Hmm.
So, but I don't think it's overrated. I actually don't think that at all.
Yeah, the only time that I went there was after parties. Which obviously we could possibly talk offline about that. But every time I would go there, it would be like an all-star special. I would get the all-star
Hmm.
special. So I would love that. Some people call it overrated that are Kennesaw State alumni. And I'm like, where would you go then? And they was
Right.
like, well, we go to IHOP. I was like, there's no freaking way you would choose IHOP over a Waffle House.
Right.
That's just ridiculous. That really is. I'm a huge advocate for that. But the second question is, uh, what is your favorite place on campus?
Mhm.
Now me personally, I always loved the green.
Mhm.
I love the green right there where straight where Kennesaw Hall was. You
Mhm.
played ultimate frisbee, which is one of my favorite games to play. Although I
Fun.
can't throw the frisbee that good, I can catch it. I can catch it a lot better than I can throw it. I
Mhm.
love the green. That's one of my favorite places. I
Mhm.
had the luxury of actually living on campus for
Oh,
about a
nice.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, so you did that as well. So yeah, I lived in a Arc for a
So
year
did we.
before.
Mhm.
You lived there too?
Mhm.
Okay, so I was in the 1100 building.
Okay, I was in 1300.
Okay, okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so I was there, had the luxury of living there, but then I also moved off campus to Sova.
Okay, where's that? I don't know where that is.
So that's right across the street from the stadium.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
those apartments, you have Viewpoint, and then
Mhm.
you have apartments further down. That's
Mhm.
Sova.
Okay.
That's on the same block, and I have my own one bedroom, so I
Nice.
live there as well. So tell me, where was your favorite place on campus?
My favorite place had to be Fifth Third Stadium. I just because soccer and my the locker room was there and that was basically like my life there for a while. That or the convo in the control room, that in the broadcast office. But we have to shout out the Commons because
Oh yeah, yeah,
that place is so good. From
yeah.
when I was at UCF, we ate at Garvey, which was like the student athlete like eating place.
Area, yeah.
Area, and it was great. I'm not gonna knock it. Like, absolute thank you so much for feeding me for 3 years. But the Commons was something different. I had never experienced like all of those different options and they had ice cream and the little desserts and every like I would pig out when I would go there. So definitely have to shout out the Commons as my like very close second.
And I love the location of the Commons as well, because
Yes.
because obviously most of my classes was in the social sciences building,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
it was to me it was a straight diagonal shot to go
Mhm.
there. And the green was once you left the Commons and you went left, the green was right there.
Yep.
So Commons was great. I always used to get pizza or salad, or I would go
Mhm.
to where they had the grilled cheese and the cheeseburgers with the fries.
Yes,
Highway
yes.
41. If you,
Mhm.
yeah, I love that place. I loved it, no doubt about it. Plus, they always had my high C drinks, and
Yes, they do.
I
They they used to make little slushies so they would be like frozen and oh my gosh, after practice when we would go in there, that was literally like a sweet treat to me,
to
honestly.
die for. It
Mm.
is. It really is. I love that. That's awesome. That's great. This has been a really dope conversation, Jay. This really has. You're
It has.
amazing in
Thank
more
you.
ways than one. You really are.
Thank you so much. So are you, Chris. I really appreciate you taking me on here and allowing me this platform because this has been awesome, honestly.
Absolutely. And listen, as I always do with every guest that I have on here, the last question that I normally ask is there anything else you would like to add about what you're doing now, about you, maybe about journalism or anything at all before we conclude?
So I right now am starting a new chapter. So when we talked about mental health and just kind of the transition of go, 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 I'm kind of at a stop right now. So I don't know what the next phase or moment or step for me is going to be.
Mhm.
Like I said, I moved back home, so we're just kind of figuring it out from here and doing a lot of internal thinking and discovery and conversations and praying and applying all of the things and reaching out to people. So, um, yeah, I'm just trying to take a new leap of faith and figure out what the next step is for me, but I'm still so passionate about what I do and to get the opportunity to share other people's stories and elevate humans and athletes and teams and spread awareness about mental health and the importance of checking in on people is just something that I'm so passionate about. And I'm just grateful and thankful for the position that I'm in, but I'm also really excited for the next chapter of what that might be.
Absolutely. The two things that I would definitely say to you is what I did while I was on that kind of, graduating and then looking for the new job or looking for the next phase and next chapter before I made the decision to go freelance. Try to go to as many sports career fairs as you can.
Mm.
I know personally me, I love to travel again. I went to a couple of them. I went to one in Houston. I went to one where the Falcons, there's a one coming up in Atlanta that's going to be coming
Mhm.
up soon. That's close. I think there's one in Florida coming up soon as well. I'm not sure what city, but I would say try to go to as many career fairs as you possibly can and see what resumes you get out. You just never know who's paying attention to you for sure. And then conventions. I'm going to the NABJ.
Hmm.
which is, I'm not sure if you know what that's about, but it's the National Association of Black Journalists. That's in
Hmm.
Cleveland this year in August. But there's different conventions, and it's not just for Black people; it's for all people.
Hmm.
But I would say go to conventions and network there too. That's where I actually got this. I got my first full-time job by going to one of those conventions.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely I would say try to go to career fairs and conventions if you can. You're in a great city, obviously in Orlando. So um there's something called Ming Entertainment as well.
Hmm.
I don't know if you really like production or no or no or
Yeah.
working behind the scenes, but Ming Entertainment has a lot of different production events that's ESPN and ABC.
Okay.
And I can certainly send you the link for that if you want me to.
Please, absolutely.
Okay. Well, say no more. Listen, this has been an absolutely fun time talking to you, Jade. I think, like I said, you're amazing in more ways than one. You're just going to continue to be amazing. Very easy to talk to. And I just want you to enjoy the rest of your Saturday and rest of your weekend. And you and I will definitely be in touch.
Chris, thank you so, so much. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And again, I'm so appreciative for you taking your time to speak to me and hang out for a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, you take care and we'll talk soon.
You too. Thanks, Chris. Bye.